you really have to be supremely selfish in order to be effectively selfless.
What is it that you want to feel? What do you want to do? And give that to yourself. And it really takes me to being alone.
You can give yourself permission to do that on your birthday, but you can also give yourself permission to do
Every
it
day.
all the time.
That's a sense of sovereignty, knowing yourself, intimacy with self that is invaluable. And it's a sense of maturity that out there.
So why step into the fear? Because that is the payoff.
Yeah.
But you must go through that to get it.
Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 16 of Real Aware Women. I am Wendy Lieber here with my incredible co-host, Ammy Patel. Hey, Ammy.
Hey.
And Jane Bolan.
Hello.
How's it going, ladies?
Amazing. Feeling the groove today. Lots of
Yes.
songs in my head, dancing around, feeling the deliciousness of life, you know? Yeah.
I love it. How about you?
Yeah, I'm feeling the same thing. Ready to go? This is episode 16.
Episode 16.
Amazing.
We're cranking through them.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So I wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank
Your
you.
birthday was earlier this week, April 20th.
Yes, it was. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And I thought it'd be fun to explore birthdays more from like consciousness presence, right? Because we all probably have our different viewpoints on birthdays. You know, a lot of times as people get older, it's like, oh, I don't want to celebrate my birthday, or that's what they are, a party, a celebration. So tell me about your birthday. What'd you do?
Yeah, so one of the things I feel is most important to me around birthdays is transformation. I feel like when everybody, in astrology, they call it your solar return, but you know, it's like when you hit that point where it's your birthday, I feel like it's the time in the realm where you came onto this planet. You were born. So a lot of movement happens. You know, we do a lot of awareness and consciousness work with self-discovery. A lot of movement happens around people's birthdays.
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, the most important thing is, what can I give myself the most of? What are the themes? What would I like to move into? Making those intentions and decisions beforehand, and then really looking at how I can deliver that to myself, but more from intuition, intuitive action, just by being present and letting the serendipity serve my intention.
Yeah.
So this time it felt like one of the intentions was generosity outward. How much love can I give and feel with others during this birthday? So that's really what my focus was on. And people wanted to ask, like, what are you doing? Are you having dinner? Or, you know.
Right.
And I really didn't make a plan because I knew it would all unfold beautifully.
Yeah.
And it did, you know. So for the most part, I had massive shifts and transformations here, but I also could feel how the week leading up to my birthday, aside from just clients, which are very important to me,
Sure.
every interaction with the people I love the most was profound. And delivering very deliberately, it felt truly selfless. Selfless is thrown around a lot, but you really have to be supremely selfish in order to be effectively selfless.
Yeah.
So to me, it felt like I could just be done with this thing during those moments and really give. And then what I saw growing and sprouting over here was so powerful. There couldn't be a bigger gift for me. Wow. So really, that was the gist of it. Of course, I had some great meals. I received a couple of nice bottles of some special whiskeys and scotches, which I love to have. Yeah. And that's great. But most of the time, you know, I don't like to say I don't want a gift. It's more so I'm receiving from purpose.
Yeah.
And so it's not about the exchange and the regular party or the celebrations that I was used to when I was younger.
Sure.
Which I really did a great job of carrying out and being given to. It's more so what is the purpose and the foundation behind it. And yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Sounds incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
What comes up for you around birthdays and maybe like the being selfish?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, one, I do think it's that day of the year better than New Year's Eve, right? Because everyone makes New Year's like, this is the new calendar year. Guess what? This is your new year.
Exactly.
And I always say that, like, welcome to your next journey around the sun,
No doubt.
right? So when you take it from that perspective, it's a very personal thing.
Yeah.
And I've spent many birthdays celebrating big time, right? And I just had my 50th, right? The last one was my 50th, which I did actually celebrate.
Yes.
but with a different intention.
Right.
Bringing together truly my family. I can look back and how many times do I have a celebration? Because, I mean, really, I just wanted people to tell me they loved me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just be honest about
Yep,
it.
yep.
And it feels good to receive that love. No right, no wrong about it. And to be celebrated and to celebrate yourself is a beautiful
Absolutely.
thing. But to really look at it as your day. What is it that you want to feel? What do you want to do? And give that to yourself. And it really takes me to being alone.
Yeah.
And I never, in the past, certainly, look, little kids, we celebrate. You want to bring your friends over, and so we really sort of wire ourselves up that way.
No
like
doubt,
this
yeah.
is about other people, right? Of course, we can laugh about that, right? The wedding's not really for you; it's for them. So, looking at it from that perspective, alone time. For what Ammy said, really looking at what do I want to create for myself? What is this next year going to be about for myself? And it is a time of transformation and reflection. Reflection about where I've been. So being alone, I mean, that's really where I'm starting to move. Now, yes, 50, I did have a little bit of a shindig.
I will too, by the way. I'm sure I'll do
Yeah,
something pretty.
there's something kind of fun about that. But I also gave myself alone time right after that. I mean, the next day was just me and me. What do I want to experience for myself? What do I want to create? And really 50 being such a milestone, what's the second half of my life look
Sure,
like,
no
or
doubt.
whatever
Yeah.
we want to say about that, right? So being alone, I think that's something we should really explore because it's something that I've heard out in the collective, right? Like, oh, go do your own solo trip, but why?
Right.
But why?
Yeah.
So I pass that back to you.
I like that.
Yeah, well, a couple of things I hear. One, I think being deliberate about how you want to spend your birthday is a transformation in itself.
Sure.
Because we're all kind of touching on, a lot of times we do celebrations for other people. People want to celebrate us. We don't want to say no.
Sure.
But when you really tap into, okay, this is my day, what's the perfect way to spend it? A lot of times that isn't known if you're not tapping into it and really allowing yourself to feel what you want to do. And I had the experience this year on my birthday to do exactly what I wanted, which was be out in nature, which was very different this year from previous years where we've done the spa or fancy restaurants or where like being in nature was exactly what I wanted. And so I think that's something that our listeners could tap into is what would be the perfect way to spend your day. And, you can give yourself permission to do that on your birthday, but you can also give yourself permission to do
Every
it
day.
all the time, right? And it might not be all the things, but even if you grab one or two things a day that's really tapped more into your purpose, it can feel just delicious, to use one of your words.
For sure. We love delicious.
Yeah, we love it.
Delicious.
Also, what I feel is as much as it feels great to receive, it feels wonderful to receive, and don't ever stop receiving. So whatever I say moving forward, it's not about stopping receiving. But there is something profound and beautiful about giving to self and then receiving from there. So a lot of people feel disappointment. It was my birthday and so-and-so didn't call, or they didn't do this for me, or why didn't I get those flowers, or my man didn't treat me right, or we could go on and on and on with all the disappointments because there's expectation and entitlement. After a certain, I say age, but archetypal place, arrival, I do feel it's profound, potent, and vital that one knows how to give to themselves.
Yeah.
It's a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage to move from, if we're speaking archetypally, from like a lady in waiting or a knight into a man and a woman, or a lord and a lady. This rite of passage is individuation, self-responsibility, and delivery here. And to be honest, the more I've been doing that, the more I receive more of what I really truly want from the spaces I want it from. And not having expectation and not receiving anything is actually far more fulfilling than that empty void that doesn't get satiated, right? So definitely making that decision is a decision for self. At some level, you're setting an intention. So even if it does get delivered, it's because you decided it so.
Right.
It's not because you're waiting for something, someone, Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, somebody to come along and deliver something fantastic. And if you don't get it, you're upset. It's about solidifying that decision as a decree, as a doneness. So it's going to arrive without any doubt. And then, I wanted to touch on the nature thing. I did go for a really long, beautiful, powerful walk on Monday morning. That was the birthday, with a very dear friend. And it was profound. I woke up in a space at 3 a.m. with a lot of movement. And I deliberately, we use our skills to move through layers, we call them resistances or things that are coming up. And I had such a huge shift that I felt a dynamism, a presence, a sense of awareness, self-love, authority. I felt like I was just launching into a new domain. And then integrating that in nature. Nature creates us to be so natural that integrating it in nature, it just felt like it all started to come together, and I felt very connected to everything around me, and the day just, from there followed.
Beautiful. That word integrate, I think it'd be great to just talk about what that actually means. So in my world, integrating is actually just giving myself the space to feel.
Yeah.
Right? So I've lived my life so much from the next thing, that to integrate really does mean just giving, in my world again, the space.
Yeah. For sure.
The space.
For sure.
To feel all the feelings, to experience the layers you just talked about, the resistances, the judgments, and then be able to shift back to what is my ideal.
No doubt.
And I think it ties right back to this birthday, right? So what we're really saying is, what if it's a celebration, a day for you to integrate, right? Really what you want to create, right, in your life.
No doubt.
So looking at it as an integration day versus just a celebration day.
Integration day. That's amazing.
Just made it up.
I know. You heard it here first. No more birthdays. Integration days.
I like it. Anyway, I just thought it was important to say, because sometimes, we use words and people don't always understand them. And so I want to make sure everyone gets it.
100%.
So I definitely wanted to delve more into, you touched on it, because I think it all ties together, is spending time alone.
Yes.
I'm going to say alone in nature, because I think that's really the dynamic duo. But when I say spend time alone, it really is alone, not with your device. Like really being able to be with one's self.
Sure.
And so it's hard for people.
Sure is.
People don't like to do it. I was traveling yesterday, and everywhere I look, right, everyone's on their phone, just filling time constantly, versus you rarely look around and see anyone just being present. So let's delve into this idea of why is it so challenging for most people to spend time alone with just themselves.
For sure. So one thing is, before I go into that, for me also, if I'm with people in nature, it's going to be that they can be okay being alone in nature.
Yeah.
Because then we can do what we need to do. If there's a conversation, it's coming from a different space.
Yeah.
And if we need to do what we need to do, that's available. So that walk was with, but without the need to have somebody there. But in terms of being alone, as you guys know, I go on these solo camping trips that I love.
Yeah.
And I've got this tent that fits perfectly in the back of my truck, and a nice little system where I put all the stuff in boxes, a stove, all the food, everything's great in arrangement. I'm feeling
very
cocky.
organized.
It's super organized, like ridiculous. It's almost too good. The system is there. But I go into the middle of nowhere, and I'm alone. And so there's one thing, we have a quote we use in Self-Discovery in our manual: man's greatest problems derive from not being able to sit quietly in a room alone. Because the first thing that happens is, well, maybe not the first, but one of the main things that happens is that you're looking here. You're stuck with you and you. If you're without devices, any entertainment, anything else, you are really stuck with whatever this thing is doing and experiencing. It could be talking, it could be feeling, but it's louder when you're alone, right? So without really knowing how to be truly, deeply intimate with self, or at least be able to stay aware with self, observe self, understand what's coming up, know how to deal with thought, emotion, physical sensations, these things do take over, which is why immediately the automatic reaction is to deflect or get distracted or turn on the device or do something else. So that's one thing. The other part is that nature is dangerous and savage. It's beautiful and sacred. So, when I'm out there in the middle of nowhere, we are in Florida. It's not like Canada. It's like this Dorothy's not in Kansas anymore feeling when it came down here. Because in Canada, you jump into any body of water.
Yeah.
I mean, the most you get is these little snippy snapping turtles.
There's predators
here you have
here.
snapping turtles that are going to take your toe off, So everywhere you go, there's like snakes and turtles and snapping turtles and gators
alligators.
And all sorts of stuff.
Bobcats.
Which takes me to my last experience where it was really quiet at night. And it happened to be after the dry spell, the cold spell here. So everything was very dry. So we weren't allowed to start any fires. So that's another aspect of it. So it's dark. I've got lanterns, but I don't particularly like to use them. I like to use the moonlight. But that's when it really got insane.
Scary.
Because I heard a couple bobcats going at it.
Wow.
And if you've ever heard that, it's insane. So that was going on. Then there's cracking and all sorts of stuff in the trees around me. I am alone. Now I've got a pistol and a knife and all sorts of stuff, but that doesn't matter. I'm a small woman. I'm alone in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's the other part. Is like how secure and solid do you feel? This isn't about me being able to use my weaponry or a fire if it was on or whatever the heck it is. It's about your own safety in here. How secure do you feel? Which carries into the part about being alone with self.
Yeah.
So it's not just how safe can I feel in here and not create things to recognize my lack of safety or my vulnerability, but it's also with myself. So that lack of safety, for example, is like a victim walking through a park.
Yeah.
If they feel weak and uncertain of themselves and they don't feel like they're physically strong,
they're going to be...
they're prey.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be
So
prey.
feeling solid inside gives us a lot more connection with self and with nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially alone.
Yeah.
Anything come up for you?
Yeah, well, I think in order to be solid inside, you have to challenge yourself. So one of the things I thought for many years that I did alone trips because I would travel to a place alone for a conference or this or that, and that was my version of being alone. And you know what? Hey, it was great. Nothing wrong with it. But then as you move forward, it's like, oh, can I be alone in my own Airbnb? Can I be alone in nature by myself? And what stops me is fear. It's that thing in nature. It's scary.
Yeah.
And it brings up every fear I had as a little kid. Remembering that even when I was babysitting, I was terrified.
Yeah.
That the boogeyman or something bad was going to happen. But just facing that fear, it's a beautiful thing, and it can be done. I think for our listeners, it's not about you go out right now and please go out camping. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you it is a process, but really looking for yourself. What is it that I am scared of? It is always fear. It really always comes down to that. So what am I scared of? What's the limitation? And it may be that your first time alone is staying home alone for a couple hours and just not looking at your device. Awesome.
Or turning on the TV or talking on, and
Just nothingness. Because
Right.
that's really what we're saying is this is the opportunity to connect with self.
Yeah.
And then you move along. You decide. And it doesn't mean you can't go out and enjoy what you're seeing. My last alone trip was in Alaska, and I did it on the coastal train. I took the coastal train from Anchorage to Seward. I rented a small Airbnb up at the cabin on the cliff, and I was alone.
So nice.
And it had no TV, which was intentional. And sure, I could go into the town and I could do some things, but I also understood my charge. What I wanted to create was being alone, sitting there looking at basically the fjords, just feeling what I was feeling, deciding exactly what I wanted to eat, when I wanted to eat it, wake up when I wanted, no alarm clock.
Yes.
Imagine that, no alarm clock. I mean, that's freedom right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this getting to know oneself is a process.
Yeah.
This is what I'm feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, what was coming up for me around this conversation is, okay, well, what's the benefit of it, right? Because, there's different ways to spend time alone. There's what you're mentioning to, whether it's traveling, whether it's just sitting in your home, but what's the benefit? What does one get access to by spending time alone? And it's not a one and done, right? It's not, oh, I did it, now done.
Right.
So what are some of the benefits? What does it give us as human beings access to if we do quiet down?
Extraordinary payoff. So I'll first touch on something you said, like I get to decide everything I do, what meal I'm going to eat, where I'm going to go, how I'm going to, everything. that gives so much authority and power to self. Like when you can really decide in any moment what you want to do with ease and flow, that's a sense of sovereignty, knowing yourself, intimacy with self that is invaluable. And it's a sense of maturity that out there, I mean, that would be a whole other podcast to talk about the effects of what true self-awareness, sovereignty, respect with deliberation becomes, right? What else I'll touch on is the feeling of always being in your own groove. It's the same kind of thing I'm saying before, but the feeling is if I'm in my own groove and I'm connected to everything, I'm always moving the way I want to flow. I'm dancing the way I want to flow. You know, when I was sitting out there and the birds were singing through the day, the sun is out, I'm just getting present with the birds and there's nothing else. I'm solely in nature. Again, we can do this anywhere, but I'm talking about nature, solely just connecting to trees, birds, everything else, and me.
Yeah.
I become my most natural self. So that's the big one about nature is you're out in nature, especially if you know how to be very present, you will become more natural. What does that mean? It means all power, flow, all my resources are available. I'm in touch and in tune. There's nothing more powerful than that, right?
Yeah.
So really supreme presence and knowing self intimately. But also when you become present and know yourself with intimacy and you know how to make these decisions no matter what's coming up, you have a sense of sovereignty and individuation that means that you are the absolute authority over everything in your world. I'm not talking about authority as in being a boss and a leader for people, which is amazing when you need to be deliberately. But I'm talking about real, true authority over self.
Yeah.
Which looks like if I'm thinking a lot about something, I can have authority over that. If I'm noticing habits, I can have authority over that. If I want to create a win or a victory, I can have authority over that. If I want to shift any limitation or something that's not going well in my life, I can have authority over that. That means I am the sovereign ruler of this.
Yeah.
If I'm sovereign here, pure power.
Yeah, the word that's coming up for me is you become like your own best resource, like it's unlimited. It's untapped, unlimited. It's always there if you are present enough, conscious enough to tap into it. Yeah. There's no need for anything out there. No. You know, I don't need to look at my device to get my endorphin. I don't need to talk on the phone. I don't need to do something productive. No. I can give it all to myself.
Which means if you're whole and fulfilled and you can deliver to yourself, that you have a very intimate relationship with self.
Yeah.
You are now really in love with yourself. Now imagine if everybody's truly, powerfully in love with themselves, deeply enriched, and then you get together with another individual who's the same. Versus all these things we do of like, I need this, or I have tethers here, or
sure,
I'm in me, you're in you. We're going to create greatness, synergistic power and wonderment together.
Yeah.
Because we're both self-loving and fulfilled.
Yeah, that's the independence versus the codependency, which we did another episode on.
Yep.
But I hear you really saying is there's a phrase that a lot of people use, you know, you have the power within, you have the answers within. I hear it all the time. Doesn't matter if it's religion, other modalities, whatever.
For sure.
What we've just broken down is how that works.
Yeah.
Right? So why step into the fear? Because that is the payoff.
Yeah.
But you must go through that to get it. Otherwise, it is just a concept.
Right.
It is just a concept. This is an experience. When I was in Alaska, I was definitely terrified. There were moments I didn't sleep. I was worried. Sure, all of that happened, but it doesn't outweigh what I gained.
Right.
Which was an unbelievable amount of sovereignty. And I did actually, when I left, I got to meet with my husband, and it was a beautiful, synergistic, individuals sharing.
You're more you.
More me. And so that is the payoff, is you tap into really your power. And now this is no longer just a phrase in the world. It's something that you experience and then you can share. People want to share the phrase.
Yeah.
But it's not as impactful as sharing it from your experience.
So sacred.
Yeah.
I love it. Anything else to share on this?
Just feeling the sacredness of self-love and how much, I started it with wanting to give to people, and I can see full circle
Yeah.
that's exactly what I create. I'm having an awareness right now where it's like, my intention was to really give generously. And as we're talking about being alone in nature and being so intimate with self, you become your own best friend. I see more and more why I don't feel like I need as much as I really just want to share and give.
Yeah.
Well, because you're already fulfilled. You're
Sure.
fulfilling yourself, so you have so much more. It's the put on your mask first so
Yeah.
you can,
Definitely.
save others. You can't.
And by no means have I arrived. I'm still a needy baby. I'm still entitled. I still have things in me that need to grow and be fulfilled. So this is not a like I'm there, but definitely starting to integrate it and experience it rather than it being a concept.
I love that. So we're going to call this the birthday episode. I love it. And our task to you listeners, whether it's your birthday or not, is to tap more into what it is you really want. So act like it's your birthday. And if you could design the perfect day where you're doing everything that fulfills you, what would that look like? And maybe you can give it all to yourself. Maybe you can give one or two things to yourself. But that's a start, is to really tap into like what would fulfill you for the day if you could design it any way you wanted. No limits.
I love it.
What about for you?
There's nothing else to say. That's it.
I'd have to agree with that.
There's nothing else to say. That's
Make every
the
day
mic
your
drop.
birthday.
Well, make every day your
eventually.
birthday.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on episode 16. We are Real Aware Women, and we love hearing from you. So if you have any thoughts, feedback, criticisms on today's episodes, let us have it. Thank you.
Thanks.